Right, everyone, Shakhtar Donetsk 1, Celtic 1. Who does the result last night benefit more? Hard to say. I would say we're probably not going to find out until the end of this group stage campaign. They were the home team. We were the team probably in greater need of getting points, given how match day 1 had gone. Who deserved to get the win? Unequivocally, fancy word, Celtic. 100% we deserved to win that game yesterday. And how do I feel? The most important question of the lot. Probably pretty similar to last night. We seem to specialise in producing Champions League matches that are hard to analyse. I long for the day when I know how I feel about a Celtic Champions League game. Last week against Real Madrid, we lost, but generally I felt quite good. Last night, I feel generally really good about the performance and the fact that we dominated the match, but the fact that we couldn't win the game just kind of brings my mood down from like a 9 to a 6 or maybe even a 5 if I'm on a bad day. Generally, last night, dominating a game away from home, Champions League group stage, I mean, how often does that happen? Like once every 7 years or something like that. So I think we have to remember, we're a pot 4 team, where we've come from in the last year and what happened last night. The interesting thing for me, and the bit that kind of makes it even harder to analyse, is that 100% anyone who watched that game last night, I think, would agree Celtic were the far better team. I mean, we could have won that game 4-1 last night, 5-1 if we'd have taken our chances, especially in the second half. Shakhtar had like one real chance in the full game. I think Shved had a shot as well, but other than that, they created very, very little in the match. And yet, you look at Celtic's key players last night, Jota, Kyogo, Giakoumakis missing that chance, even Callum McGregor. And I would say for those 4, especially the 3 that started, Jota, Kyogo, McGregor, you maybe give them 5, 6 out of 10s. It wasn't as if they were playing at their top level. And yet we dominated a Champions League group stage game away from home. So is it that we are just so good under Ange Postecoglou that even when our top players aren't having amazing matches, we can still dominate an away game in the Champions League group stage? Is it that Shakhtar plainly aren't very good and they fluked a bit of a result last week in Leipzig? Or is it just that it was a crazy, crazy game? Well, it didn't feel particularly crazy, the match, to me, so I'm going to rule that one out. I do want to say I don't think Shakhtar are particularly great. I'm not totally convinced they're going to get too many more points in this group stage when you consider they've got Real Madrid 2 games in a row up next and they've got to come to Celtic Park. I don't think they're going to get many more than 3 more points, say, in their final 4 matches. I could be wrong there, but I just wasn't massively impressed by them. But I also think, the first point I made is really pertinent. I think the team that Ange is building, specifically with this system, with it being just so well structured and seemingly so dangerous, that even when the likes of Jota, Kyogo, McGregor aren't massively influencing the game like we know they can, we can still, as a team, dominate a game last night. It's just very exciting for the day it clicks. That's what I'm getting at. But we need to take our chances. Just take your chances. I cannot go through another night like last night again. It is the most frustrating thing. Well, no, it's not. I mean, Dedrick Boyata giving away soft goals is the most frustrating thing in the Champions League group stage. But in terms of attacking wise, missing chance after chance after chance is just so frustrating. So learn from it, Celtic, forwards especially. When it comes to the next match in Leipzig, if we create 3 big chances, put at least 2 of them in the net, Celtic. Come on. But generally, pretty happy with last night. Right, let's move on. Before we get some of your comments, this is how the other match in the group went last night. Real Madrid leaving it pretty late, as you can see, to get past Leipzig. Valverde scored a pretty neat goal. He seems in really good form at the moment in the 80th minute. And then Asensio kind of swept in a second goal clincher in the first minute of stoppage time. So another victory for Real Madrid. They've got maximum points in the group, 6 from 6. We are up from 4th to 3rd with last night's point. Leipzig still to get off the mark. And Shakhtar in a pretty decent position, which again just adds to my frustration that we weren't able to beat them last night. As we know, match day 3 fixtures there at the bottom. We go to Leipzig, early kick-off. Shakhtar go to the Bernabeu. Now I should say right now, I do have goal difference in that graphic there, but goal difference is kind of secondary to head. Now I know you know this because you're all football intellectuals, but yeah, UEFA, if teams are levelling points, they go to the head-to-head in matches between said teams rather than goal difference. Last night on the reaction, I was a little bit down on our chances of qualifying for the last 16 because I felt that, generally you need at least 9 points to get to the last 16. We're in 1 at the moment, which would mean we'd need at least 8 from our final 4 matches. You may have seen this going around social media, forums, etc. But there is actually a bit of an interesting scenario that could see us qualifying for the last 16 with just 6 more points and with a game to spare, which sounds totally unfeasible. Basically, if Real Madrid were to win their next 3 matches, so they've got Shakhtar twice, and then they've got to go away to Leipzig, and we were to beat Shakhtar in Glasgow and also win just one of the 2 matches against Leipzig, then we would have qualified for the last 16 of the Champions League with a game to spare. I know that seems pretty hard to believe without boring you and confusing you all. Basically, at that stage, with 2 more wins, we'd be on 7 points. Shakhtar would still be on 4, given that they would have lost to us and Real Madrid twice, unable to catch us because of the head-to-head being in our favour. And Leipzig would only be on a maximum of 3 points, given that they'd lost in Glasgow and lost to Real Madrid and therefore unable to catch us. So we're hoping for Real Madrid to clean up basically over the next 3 matches. Hopefully if they win all 3, we'll be in a strong position should we take care of our own business in Glasgow to make it to the last 16. I must say right now, maybe this is controversial given that they're perhaps the best team in the world right now, but I do get the impression Real Madrid are going to throw in a weird one somewhere. Hopefully it comes in match day 6 at home to us. I just don't see Real Madrid 18 points at the end of the group stage. Now clip that bit up for the end of the group stage when they've got 18 and we've got 1. But I just they don't strike me as the kind of team that are going to be, are going to go consistently through the group stage, winning every single match. I just get the impression there's going to be a weird one in there. They're going to lose a game somewhere. Hopefully it's against us in match day 6 when we're both already through. But yeah, just, I mean, it's very early to do all these permutations. We're 2 matches into a 6-game group stage, but we're not in a disastrous position. And if Real Madrid do happen to clean up and keep winning, it could mean there's a fair chance that 7 points could be enough to make it to the last 16. Obviously, 3rd place as well. Some of you out there may even prefer to finish 3rd, as crazy as that sounds, because you drop into the Europa League after Christmas, perhaps would have a better chance of going a run in that competition. I think, certainly 2 wins at home to Leipzig and Shakhtar would be enough to get 3rd place at the very least. So, yeah, just win your home game, Celtic. But if we can get, a point or even, amazingly, 3 on the road in one of the games against either Leipzig or Real Madrid, that would be a huge bonus that would potentially take us on in the Champions League. It's just exciting to be able to talk about all this. I feel like when was the last time we were in the group stage when we actually got to speak about, wanting to target last 16? Certainly under Rodgers, the 2 years were just kind of making up the numbers and at the very best finishing 3rd. I think probably 2012 was the last time, the year when we did make it to the last 16. That was the last time we genuinely were having these kind of conversations. And I think if Celtic keep playing like they did in Poland last night, we take our chances, we will pick up victories in this group. Victories. at least 2, which is kind of what we're after. Okay, a few of your comments now, starting with Alexander Wardrop. Another tale of missed chances. What the hell do we do? Their boy ran through and rattled the ball into the net. We huffed and fluffed and blutered the ball against legs or over the bar. What are we doing wrong? I touched on this last night on the reaction. It just seems like whenever we play opposition in Europe, they are just so clinical in front of goal. Like, Shakhtar had one huge chance last night, and Mudryk, you just knew he was never missing, whereas I just feel, without having a go at our players, you feel if that's like Haksabanovic or Maida running in and goal, you just don't see that happening. But they can do it because generally these players do it domestically. I mean, that Giakoumakis chance, if that's against, Dundee United in Tangerine rather than Shakhtar, he's just 100% putting that in the net. So that part of it is frustrating, really frustrating. That's the one part of it I'm going to have a go at the team. You need to take your chances at this level, and hopefully we do from now on. David O'Donnell, who I always enjoy reading's comments. So there you go, David. In the last 10 mins of the game, I really felt we were going to score and just wanted as much added time as possible. When their player got cramp, it unsettled our rhythm and the game was done. But I think that feeling of not wanting the game to end, not wanting to settle for a draw, shows how far we've come. In years gone by, we'd be praying for the final whistle. I think, for me anyway, the main takeaway amidst the frustration of last night is how far Celtic have come. You can't get away from that. This time last year, we had 0 points from 6 in the Europa League group stage. Now we've got 1 from 6 in the Champions League. That is progression, it's improvement right there. I think the big picture here, and we know Ange is huge in the big picture. The big picture is that Ange he's going to turn us into a team who I think can get points every single season in the Champions League group stage and can target last 16 qualification every single season. I think that's where Celtic are headed. You can tell that already with the way we dominated last night and the way we didn't dominate Real Madrid, but the way we played in that first half and the fact that we went toe-to-toe with them. He's taken us to that place. But as fans, we're impatient. I'm especially impatient in everything in life that I do, and I want it to happen right now, and I want it to be the last 16 this year. And again, there's nothing wrong in thinking that, but I agree totally with David's point, the fact that you're looking at the clock at the top last night, and I'm guessing we're all the same, and you're going, oh, please give us, 5 minutes of stoppage time. Give us even more. Whereas in the past, maybe under certain other managers, even under someone like Brendan Rodgers in a game last night, I just think you'd be looking at that clock thinking, right, we'll get out of here with a point and that'll be good. Which, yeah, it was almost like a domestic game last night. A big domestic game against decent opposition, but a domestic game nonetheless in terms of the way we dominated the game. I don't think that's going to happen in Leipzig. It's certainly not going to happen in the Bernabeu. We're not going to have the same amount of the ball, but I do think we can create chances in both of those games. Kenny P touching on a similar point, by the way. 2 good performances and just 1 point. Hope luck changes in those games. It can't be a hard luck story. We don't want that. Ange doesn't want that. Last night could have been 3 points and we could have been totally buzzing about our chances. As it is, we're just kind of buzzing. In terms of Ange, he was pretty pleased after the game, unless you are an interpreter working in Warsaw. He told media, "From my perspective, I can't ask for more from the players. We will get our rewards if we keep playing that kind of football and showing that sort of commitment. We have to embrace the fact that everything we get, every goal, every point, every win is going to be hard earned. There are no easy ones at this level. We put everything into this game. We didn't get the 3 points, but if we keep doing that, I think it will give us a chance of being successful in every game we play." So main thing there from my point of view is him asking the team to really embrace how difficult this is going to be. Not to be fazed by it, but to just really embrace it and enjoy every moment of trying to succeed at this level. I feel we're good enough. UEFA very strangely decided to give Jota the Man of the Match award, which I found very surprising. Maybe it was those 2 runs that he had that were playing on their mind. And yeah, that's kind of where we're at the moment. We've got 3 weeks off now in terms of the Champions League. until our next match, which is away to Leipzig. We then face them at home, I think 6 days later at Celtic Park. I mean, stating the obvious alert, but that is going to define our entire group stage campaign. I think 4 points there, and we are looking really good for the last 16. 3, and you're kind of all right. Any less than 3, we're struggling. And obviously 6 would be nice. 6, we can start looking out our passports for wherever the final is. I think it's Turkey this year. But before we get to Turkey, we do have Paisley on Sunday, slightly less glamorous, but it is the league. It's very important. I feel like the league's not been spoken about too much over the last few weeks. Even the derby, which was a league game, kind of felt detached in a weird way. I think just because it's so early in the season, nobody's seriously looking at the league table, apart from me and you now, I guess. That's what it looks like. We have a 5-point advantage at the top, which is very, very welcome. And we face St Mirren on Sunday, and an opportunity to just extend that win and run in the league this season to 7 out of 7. After St Mirren, we'll go into the first international break of the season. When we return, we'll face Motherwell at Celtic Park. We'll then have Leipzig away. We'll then have St Johnstone away and Leipzig at home. So it's going to come back very quickly, and it's going to be pretty exciting. Should say, by the way, just before I go, that we are very, very close now to 33,000 subscribers. I'll just do a wee live check for you right now, which will be different by the time you're watching this. Less than 200 away now, significantly less than 200 away from getting to 33k. So you there who loves the channel, and we love you back, but you've just not managed to click subscribe yet, go and do it right now when I finish this video and get us to 33k by, let's say, by the end of tomorrow, everyone. We appreciate all of the support. Let us know, as always, what you think in the comments. From tomorrow onwards, we're looking ahead to St Mirren.